Yes, sir. Mod Trekker, back up in this thing, man. Today, we'll be breaking down some mysterious videos that'll leave you shocked. But before we hop into that, go ahead and spam that like button right now so we can run the numbers up on the algorithm. You ain't even gotta think about it later. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that sub button too. Sub up, join the family. This is the most lit and active community on YouTube, period. With that being said, guys, let's hop straight into the video.
What is that ring? That's crazy. I can't tell what that is.
It kind of looks like one of those smoke rings that people sometimes see at Disneyland, but the circular shape is a little too uniform to just be smoke. This might be a cloaked Millennium Falcon.
Have you ever wondered why every global crisis seems to come with a perfect solution already lined up? Well, let me introduce you to the Hegelian dialectic, which was actually originated in the 1800s for philosophical progress, but then later manipulated for politics and revolution. Basically, in other terms, it's what the evil elites of this world use to keep us controlled. They create the problem, they create the reaction, and they create the solution. 9/11, for example. The problem, the terror attack. The reaction, to protect us. And the solution is endless war and mass surveillance. Mission accomplished. We all remember this one in 2020, don't we? Well, the problem was the pandemic, the reaction was the lockdowns, and the solution was the injections, the digital IDs, and the track and trace. Mission accomplished. Problem, climate change. Reaction, stratospheric aerosol transport and nucleation, which is an acronym for Satan, and the solution, carbon taxes, restricted movement, and AI-ran smart cities. They create the problem, they stage the reaction, and they always have the solution. They just make you beg for it. But please, go and look into the Hegelian dialectic before you start coming into my comments and calling me mental. But obviously this was just for entertainment, and I'm as fictional as a dinosaur, baby.
I feel like this method is being used a lot more than we even realize. If you think about companies like Bayer Monsanto, they'll cause the problem by putting out chemicals like Roundup, and then the reaction is that you get sick, and the solution is that you get prescribed their medications. And that's just one small example.
Damn, where's it going? It's right there. Somebody is walking on the mother freaking clouds.
Something is walking on them clouds.
What is that?
It's a body. Look.
It showed this. That's a person. That's crazy. We're not supposed to see that. We're not supposed to see that. Something gonna happen.
It could just be a piece of the cloud protruding out, but it looks like somebody is literally walking on cloud 9.
Best way to understand the United Nations is really as a front for a group of people. If you think of the UN as it's portrayed in education, as it's portrayed in the media, you imagine like, oh, the world is coming together and we're singing Kumbaya. But that's not the reality. If you look, there are key people who make the decisions, and they're not always in the news. Oftentimes they're behind the scenes. Here in the United States, we have a number of secret societies that are very, very influential when it comes to this architecture of international governance. The Skull and Bones Society at Yale University, kind of a secret club where you find people like John Kerry, George Bush, etc. Then you have the Bohemian Grove out in Northern California, a very, very bizarre secret organization bringing together really hundreds of the most powerful men in the world, presidents, prime ministers, cabinet ministers, CEOs of the big corporations. And all throughout the history of the United Nations, these groups have been really a critical component of the decision-making, the agenda setting. And it comes down to the individual level as well. When you want to look at who are the individuals that are guiding these processes, the Rockefeller name, for example, comes up over and over again, from donating the land that the United Nations was on to donating money to various UN agencies to kind of helping to chart the agenda. What should the UN be focusing on? The Rockefellers and their allies keep coming up over and over and over again. When we talk about the UN, we really need to recognize that there's the doublespeak, there's the propaganda, that it's just the nations of the world coming together to solve problems. And then there's the reality. It's a front group for a group of very dangerous, very totalitarian-minded and ambitious individuals who, if left to their own devices, would rule over humanity with an iron fist.
The fact that the Rockefellers were so heavily involved in this creation is all the proof I need that the United Nations is most likely just a step towards a one-world government.
Okay, I just saw this creepy happen on national television. What the was that?
And this is why it's hard for me to believe anything I see on the news.
Y'all ready to have y'all's mind blown, man? August 11th, 1987 HARP patent. Method and apparatus for altering a region in the Earth's atmosphere, ionosphere. These dates over here, is this the 80s? Huh. Polarized electromagnetic radiation is transmitted upward in a direction substantially parallel to and along a field line which extends through a region of the plasma to be altered. The plasma to be altered. Here's your little figures and whatnot, just basically showing what it is. Look below me. Directed energy weapons. Devices that direct a beam of high energy content toward a target for incapacitating or destroying the target. Well, so this was in the 80s. Pretty cool patent. So fact checkers, before y'all freak out with the fact check, I literally just read the Google patent. I'm not saying it's anything. I'm not saying nothing. My shirt's on the inside out. I don't really care this morning, man. I just saw it. I thought it was really cool, so I decided to read the patent. There's no underlying context of this or anything, fact checkers.
Just for clarification, I didn't see HARP's name directly mentioned on the patent anywhere, but altering Earth's atmosphere sounds very HARP-like.
Don't you just love these old NASA photos of them working on motherboards there? Look, she's obviously soldering something there. Or is she? Because if you've got a second eyeball, you'll notice something that's a little bit out of place. Like her hand. Let me impose that for you. There it is. You notice what's going on there? Yeah, she's got basically supersonic hands that don't know heat. Yeah, obviously this is an ex-woman here at NASA. That's what they employ. They only employ people that are fireproof. Yeah, because this girl is obviously holding that soldering iron there and doesn't feel any of it. Her skin isn't burning off. She's looking like she's doing her job normal there. But, is it just a photo op and she picked it up and thought she'd, just show us and didn't actually hold it the correct way because she's never done it in her life before? Yeah, could it be that? Could it be that when you buy in sellouts into your company because they need to toe the line, you don't actually get the genius effect, do you? Nah, you get what is available is the best way to say it, folks. And that is NASA for you.
They're really mocking our intelligence if they expect us to believe this. If this was real, she would still be holding that soldering iron to this day because it would be fused to her hand.
This is the size of a 35-inch freaking mud tire. It just goes all the way to the roof. Oh my God. Yellow jacket nest.
I don't even think pest control would know what to do with this. Your best bet is to just drop a nuke on the entire pump house.
How old are you?
I low-key stopped counting, bro. Like, cause I look in the mirror.
We're over 18, we're all men here.
I'm like, man, I look the same as when I was 19.
Yeah, how do you look so young? What's your secret?
Hairline.
What's your secret?
Like,
I don't think he was joking about that either, because when he was still with Megan Fox, they talked about doing rituals like these in an interview. And if he really is doing it, then he better not stop no time soon, or he's gonna go from looking age 22 to age 92 in a matter of days.
So in section 43201, it talks about replacing the Department of Commerce with AI. Now the question comes with, what else do they replace with? AI. And here's where it gets really strange. It talks about in this section below that no politician or governing body may stop AI for the next 10 years or enforce any laws or regulations regulating artificial intelligence models. That's Silicon Valley owning the government. Then we find Silicon Valley manipulating the weather. Then it gets weirder when we find AI and Silicon Valley entering the healthcare system to control all of that. And you can't sue any of these companies. Isn't that odd? And this kind of reminds me of the Vaccine Protection Act signed by Reagan in 1986, protecting all the vaccine companies from damages. There were so many lawsuits that they were actually going to go out of business, but the government protected them. Then it gets even deeper when we find Billy Boy Clinton in the Telecommunication Act of 1996. He passed a bill so if they put a cell phone tower in front of your house, you can't sue for any damages. Do you see how the government is kind of setting us up? And then they're going to replace the government with AI? It's kind of really strange. It's almost like Black Mirror. I don't know.
My main concern with this isn't the AI itself, it's the no regulation for 10 years. 10 years is enough time for the AI to fully evolve into Skynet.
Early 1900s, my dad was an incubator baby in Coney Island. He was on display. They had just invented the incubator. He was.
You could literally tell me anything, I'd believe.
No, it's true.
Your mom was an orphan. Your dad left home.
He was an orphan also.
What did each of them tell you about their situations growing up?
They didn't talk much about it.
This confirms the existence of the incubator babies they had at the World's Fairs in the late 1800s and early 1900s, but the real question is, where did they come from?
The best way to hide something is to not hide it at all. So we're in Plaza Castilla right now in Madrid, and it's really cool because people walk by this every single day, and they don't know because they don't see the hidden Masonic symbolism here. So it's actually really cool. So in the first temple period, King Solomon, David's son, he was instructed to build 2 columns outside the temple. Boaz and Hakim, okay? To this day, every single Masonic temple is required to have 2 columns outside the entrance. Now, if you're a city of consequence, you will have obelisks, right? Now, the thing you're supposed to do with obelisks is you're supposed to have them situated on top of 2 intersecting circles, or known as a Vesica Pisces. Why? Because the Vesica Pisces looks like a get, like the front end of a get, right? So it's a sex symbol. It's basically telling you this is the birth of something. Now, you have the birth of something, you have the entrance to something, right? So what is that behind this? This is the business district of Madrid. So it's telling you they're open for business. It's really cool. Another thing, very Masonic, you will see checkered patterns, black and white. So I'm going to jump as high as I can right now and show you something.
I don't think this is necessarily an obelisk because it's not sitting inside the Vesica Pisces. This looks more like a magic wand, which almost makes it worse. At first, I thought this could be somebody wearing a costume, but the shape of the body doesn't look human at all. This might actually be a legit alien, and if so, he better hurry up and get out of Compton before they leave the UFO sitting on bricks.
Can we get control of an individual to the point where he will do our bidding against his will?
My name is Kathy O'Brien, and I'm a survivor of MK Ultra mind control.
Project Monarch utilized a combination of psychology, cognitive neuroscience, trauma, and occult rituals to create within the victims 1 or more altered personas that could be then triggered and programmed by the handlers.
It actually changed the way that my brain was functioning.
Through trial and error, success was finally achieved. The experiments proved that certain inaudible sound waves will electronically encode messages into victims, allowing for silent mind control to take place on a mass scale and go completely undetected.
If MK Ultra started all the way back in the 50s, then by now they've probably perfected the mind control techniques, and with the advancements in frequency technology are probably doing it on a mass scale as we speak.
Este tiene super forma de nave espacial, ¿cierto? ¿Sí o no? A conciencia. Todos tienen como triangulitos, formas triangulares. Ay, Dios mío. Bueno, por lo menos desde este punto de vista. Reportando.
The person filming this is a lot more chill than I would be if I saw a fleet of UFOs in the sky. I would be frantic.
Then you have another report titled Underground Tunnels and Hybrid Breeding Programs, and you cover Bill Schneider's claims about stumbling into a network of deep underground bases with non-humans in them under Dulce, New Mexico. Bill died about a year after going on this whistleblower speaking tour, and a lot of people think what he said was just too sensational, but you go on to add that Dulce is for beings that some say live underground. It's 160 kilometers from Scientology's Trementina base, which is an underground complex they built for some reason. And it's 200 kilometers from Epstein's Zorro Ranch, which has an 8,000 square foot underground level and is said to go even deeper. And of course, Epstein talked to people about his hopes to seed the human race from this facility after a cataclysm. So more logs for the fire. Those pieces are starting to fit, wouldn't you say?
If you really want to get to the truth of the matter, you have to factor in an underground world. In my opinion, that's really what is at the heart of what's going on. Non-human manipulation. So if that's the case, then why couldn't reptilian beings shapeshift and hide into a human form?
I feel like whenever a whistleblower mysteriously passes away shortly after coming forward with their information, that makes their claims more valid in my opinion.
Olha só que lindo.
Olha só, cara, que lindo.
It could be a glitch in the camera, but if you look at the glare from the lens, you can clearly see two objects, so I don't know.
On the back of your credit card, people see the hologram of a dove, and people don't realize what that represents. And that was when Jesus threw the moneylenders out of the temple with great anger. It's because if you were wealthy, you sacrificed an ox during that period of celebration. But if you were poor, you lent money or you borrowed money to sacrifice a dove. So that dove on a credit card represents you're a borrower and you're a poor borrower.
Up until now, I thought that dove on the credit card was to signify that I was a valued customer, but apparently it's the exact opposite. I'm officially humbled.
If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff or text police 61016. We'll sort it. See it?
If I ever see Pennywise the clown riding on the L train, I'm pressing the emergency stop button and getting off right then and there. I'd rather take a Lime scooter.
There are Egyptian-style sarcophagi in Japan. Did y'all know about this? And there used to be tons of these Egyptian-style sarcophagi in the Grand Canyon. The Smithsonian bought them up in all newspapers and magazines that reported on them, and I believe has either stored them or destroyed them. Currently, you are not allowed to explore the majority of the Grand Canyon. There are also underwater stone cities. That doesn't make any sense, guys. Why are these cities underwater? And our history books say that an earthquake happened sometime and it sunk. And yet there are flood myths all over the world. And doesn't that sound more probable? Anyway, a new friend of mine sent me a whole bunch of photos, and I just want these photos to speak for themselves. Notice how the camera almost feels unworthy of capturing them. That there's something almost unearthly about these buildings. And you can see the little horse and buggy people at the bottoms of these buildings, not responsible for the creation of these structures, but for the founding of them. That they founded them exactly the way they are, and then dug them out and carved their initials on them. And then all of our elites have written history books. Legit, guys, you're not allowed to go explore those sunken ruins if you're not an academic. The academics get to have a say on the narratives. And conveniently, all the academics hang out together in their ivory towers, and you need to kiss the ring in order to be let into the secret club. Some gross Illuminati stuff. I do not participate in those kind of shenanigans. And so I'm going my own way. I'm going to find the truth on my own, and all my cool friends are trying to help me.
I feel like one of the main reasons why they would erase this from the history books is that if we don't even know our own history or what we're capable of, it makes it that much easier for us to accept whatever lies they feed us now.
Okay, after I got back from a short run, I came back to take a shower before going to work. And after the shower, I go into my room, getting dressed, and I hear somebody walking down the stairs. These stairs. Clearly somebody walking down the stairs. And then I hear some shuffling, so I come downstairs, I'm like, hello? Nobody's here. No one was here early this morning. And I come downstairs into the kitchen, and this is what I find. Let me turn the light on. This is what I find. I'm officially freaked out. Nobody's in here. All the cabinet doors and the drawers are open. All of them. I mean, I'm not scared, but I am officially freaked out. All of the doors are open. Didn't hear this kind of noise. I heard like shuffling, like somebody was in here walking or something. And then I come in here, and these drawers are open as well. And the chairs are by the table, but turned the other way. I mean, what the? This is so weird. I've experienced stuff in this hotel before, but nothing like this. You know, hearing a door slam. That was a long time ago, though. But, it's just so weird.
I wouldn't care if I was staying in a presidential suite at the Four Seasons Orlando. If I'm staying at a hotel and I see this, I'm checking out immediately.
Oh my gosh! So what is that? What is
What
that?
the hell?
I I'm already not that good at golf as is, so if I was trying to play and I saw the ghost of Arnold Palmer roaming the course, I'm hitting a quadruple bogey.
The Cunha Tunnel is basically everything anybody ever says on a phone, on a computer. Those guys are down there and they're listening to everything. And there's one spot in there that this lieutenant was telling us about that he worked in, and it was called Otherworldly Communications. And I'm like, what? He's like, there's only 8 of us. No one enlisted, just officers. We're all linguists, and we just listen all day to otherworldly communications. Come on now. If we're talking about aliens, who can communicate with an alien? And he said that we have been doing this for a very long time, that we're already traveling in space. And I remember seeing them coming down. They were wearing like black uniforms. Only thing on their sleeve was a blue circle with a red pointer coming up the top on the left arm. We were told they were space program guys. This is 2007. A space program? What the hell is a space program? They're already in space and on the moon. And there is a dialect, and we do have linguists that understand the dialect. So then, 2 weeks later, a couple of guys I knew that worked in the Cunha Tunnel, I pulled aside and I said, listen, man, that lieutenant said there's a place called Otherworldly Communications. And they said, there is, man. We can't even go in the hallway over there. And then you find out why we're in Iraq. Because there's some artifacts that we have to get out of Iraq. We went to Iraq because we wanted to plunder some kind of artifacts they were looking for. He confirmed this. They said that there were some artifacts from, God, who knows how long ago, that were extremely important, and they were from other civilizations that came to Earth and started the whole program. Whole program? And one of the officers said that this is our 4th civilization on Earth that has been this far or even further along than we are. Let's just hope we make it. What does that mean? Hope we make it? Who, is someone going to take us all out? And he indicated with his eyes that, yeah, we could be taken out if we do.
If this is true, then we better hurry up and get our act together, because right now I would say we're doing it completely wrong.
What am I seeing? What was that, bro? I don't know if it'll do it again. Or if I'm tripping, I don't know. It's like a, oh my God, what was that? What the heck, bro?
I'm actually stumped. I don't even think Stephen Hawking can answer this one if he was still here.
We can safely say that, yes, there were some captured craft from 1945 or 47, was it? In Roswell, New Mexico. And yeah, they were real. And yes, we really did get some technology from them. And yes, we really did put it to work. And we can thank people in the United States Army to have the foresight to put these into industry for the benefit of the people of the world. I know this to be a fact. We put it to use, but it took us a long time to figure out what it was and then figure out how we can use it and then what to use it for. And are those products useful for humanity?
If what he's saying is true, I doubt they were questioning if the products would be useful for humanity. They were questioning how much money they can make.
Okay, it was just there. There it is. Do you see it? Hello? Where are you? Shit, where'd he go? There he is. That's the giant. The freaking giant.
She better be very careful, because I feel like this could either be an angel or a Nephilim. They might as well just start packing up the moving truck now, because this house is condemned.
My mirror's cracking by itself.
What's happening? Wait, stop.
Harry, my mirror is cracking by itself.
She began filming after noticing something inexplicable. The mirror in her living room spontaneously cracking without any apparent cause.
My mirror's cracking by itself.
Adding an extra layer of eeriness, several commenters pointed out what appears to be a ghostly face slowly manifesting within the shattered glass, staring directly back at the camera.
I know.
Some people believe that mirrors are portals. This might actually be proof of that. But if breaking a mirror is 7 years of bad luck, then breaking a mirror without touching it gotta be 27 years of bad luck.
Jeff Bezos, he a bad motherfucker, man. I gotta give it to him, man. They gonna figure that shit out, man.
One thing about Amazon is they'll never miss an opportunity to make a quick buck. You could be at the bottom of the ocean and Jeff Bezos himself will pull up in an Ocean Gate submarine to deliver your package. But that was the video, guys. Don't forget to sub up, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next one.